I just want to give you a bit of an insight into the AFL Enjoys team. We're a bunch of unique individuals, Matsa, Sfenda, and Dean. We're going to engage with our minds and our hearts. We're going to exchange ideas, thoughts, and even our energy. And to speak from your heart, you need to have courage. You need to be honest and authentic. We're not always going to get it right, and sometimes you're not going to agree with us. But that's okay, because just like you, we care. Just like you, we're passionate about the game. So if you want to come along for the ride, join us at the AFL Enjoys podcast, because we really enjoy the footy. Hello and welcome back to the AFL Enjoys podcast. Been a little while, boys. The draft's happened.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
That's it, man. It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. Obviously, it's a bit of a hiatus after the trade period. Sort of nothing was really going on for a while there, but obviously a massive draft happened the other week and heaps to talk about from that. So
I will say the reason why we had a little bit of a break is we wanted to just allow Kaltumi to take center stage. And you know what I mean? Because like otherwise, if we were doing pods in between, no one would watch Gettable. You know, it'd just be a bit.
Yeah, we're doing them a favour.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, we're giving Kaltumi the stage now because we've got future Kaltumi over here.
Exactly right, man. So watch out, buddy.
you've got to respect the GOAT, Kaltumi.
Nah, fair. You do.
You know what? Riley's improved as well over the years, I must say. He's getting better.
How did Cal do in the top 10? He usually gets it pretty spot.
For the entire first round, I think he was 22 out of 27, correct?
Yeah, not bad.
Something like that. 22 out of 28.
Modest.
Might have even been better, to be honest. He did pretty well. But yeah, so what we're going to do today, obviously, we'll just go over the draft, bit of the talking points, see who improved most, who won, who lost, and we'll go from there, boys. So obviously, look, let's just get West Coast out of the way first. Pretty much a no-brainer with Harley at 1. Everyone sort of knew that was going to happen.
There was you guys weren't feeling like there was anything going to happen on draft night with North. And it's kind of done, right?
North's pretty transparent. I feel like we're pretty happy to talk to guys like Kaltumi, and like everyone sort of knows what we're doing every year. So I wasn't expecting anything, to be honest.
Well, look, I feel like our guys were sort of saying, oh yeah, we think it's done and dusted. They're going to take Harley. And I think, you know what, at the end of it all, they're getting the best player, appearingly the best player in the draft. And he probably will be, you know. He's been touted as, you know, generational, dusty, like... Yeah, I think they did what they needed to do and just get the best talent available, I guess. So
yeah, as a rebuilding team, and they seriously have to rebuild. They're starting from one key pillar that's obviously got leadership potential. You can rally a team around. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he does over his career. Hopefully, he stays at West Coast, and it's not enough Horn Francis thing in a couple of years' time. That'd be shit. He gets Nick Nats and Ben Cousins' number, so a famous West Coast number as well. So see what happens.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't go to another Melbourne team, not North Melbourne, to be honest with you. I'd feel sick.
I'd hate it if he goes to Carlton. It'd be terrible.
But see, like, apart from Harley, I actually think they did all right with their 2 picks in the 30s as well, to be honest with you. Like, they went and got Archer Reed, who is, you know, 203 centimetre forward, who, you know, didn't really do well, you know, in the later part of his draft year, but, you know, he provides a target, you know, could be all right next to Oscar Allen. You know, once, you know, Jack Darling retires as well, there's the spot for him. So, yeah,
for sure.
That was all right.
And then Clay Hall, I think he's an on-baller. Pretty big boy as well. So they've now got like Jinby, Reed, Clay Hall, Elijah Hewitt. So their midfield's starting to rebuild itself quite nicely, I reckon.
Yep. They're all going to get opportunity as well. So
I would say for the Supercoach fans, Clay Hall is definitely one to keep an eye on. If he plays round 1 as an on-baller, which chance he will, I think that, yeah, he could be the one to go. But yeah, what do you guys think about them rather than, you know, splitting the number 1 pick? You know, what do you reckon, you know, about that? Do you reckon it would have been better off, you know, splitting it into a future first and more firsts and, you know, 3 or 4 firsts, however many it would have been? Or
look, I was of the belief that they should, because pick 1 and then pick 30 for the bottom team with a lot of retirements. I thought... And they didn't really pick up much in the free agency. I thought maybe they just need more talent rather than just the best guy. But look, they've brought in 4 kids, and then in the rookie draft as well. So all in all, there's sort of 5 or 6 new players coming in the door there. I guess that's reasonable for 1 year, and then they can go again next year. So
you see what like a Walsh can do to a team, and Nick Dacos can do to a team. You know, if this guy comes in, drives the standards, is already in his first or second year one of the best players in the team, well, you know, then they've done well. So I think when you've got clearly what someone that's considered that good of a player, probably the most hyped number 1 pick we've seen in a long time, just take him and go for it. I mean, I wasn't against the idea of splitting it because you saw what North has done, who we'll probably talk about next, and even Gold Coast getting a lot of first-round draft picks. But, you know, if they feel like it's almost 100% guaranteed this kid's going to be great, just take him and, you know, I think he can change your culture really quickly. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with him.
Yeah. I must say, though, as well, this has to be the first time in history that the first pick in round 1 and the first pick in round 2 share the same last name. Harley Reid, Archer Reid.
Yeah.
Has to be the first time
that's
ever.
a good pick.
Has to be. So well done to West Coast there.
Very poetic of them.
It is, isn't it? It can't
Shout
not be
out.
a good draft when that happens.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
shout out to him, man.
Read to read.
That's probably going to happen a lot. Let's be fair. You know, Harley Reid kicking it into the 50 to Archer.
Reid of the Archer variety.
Reid of we'll get a few.
No,
of
they say
those.
read, this is Archer. That's how BT does it.
Dagos, Nick, or Josh. Cool. So actually, let's talk about North Melbourne now. So
I was gonna say, speaking of, you know, what a Welsh can do,
Yes.
what was the other guy that you said?
Dacos.
A Dacos can do. Colby McKercher, man. He looks like an Aussie Nick Dacos. That's you know, and I'm credit to Dean to that one. Legit, man. He looks zippy. There was during the first video that they showed of him training, he did a fake hand pass and got LDU off his feet and then just ran around him. It was gorgeous, man. It was gorgeous.
got us excited. for
Oh
sure.
yeah, 100%.
So what's North starting midfield round 1?
Oh,
Probably still LDU, Thomas, Wardlaw.
Is Simkin injured?
No, he's fine.
He's
Nah,
fine? He's
nah.
fine?
He's just not as good as Thomas LDU or Wardlaw, quite frankly. Like,
yeah. I would say, the next rung after the guys you just said would be Simpkin and McKercher. You
Yeah.
know, like McKercher might get some time on the wing or maybe even half back.
there's talk of him playing defense, forward, wing, on ball. Like, basically, he's just a natural footballer, like a Dacos. You
But
can put him
he's playing. He's playing right
100%
now.
playing.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Him and the other guy, Dersma, they both have to start round 1, man.
This
There's
is the
no-
funniest thing, right? So I listened to a few North Melbourne podcasts, and they're actually all very good. Like, I've got nothing bad to say, but there seems to be a general vibe in the North community that why'd we pick Dersma? We should have got Curtin. We need key backs. We've got heaps of medium forwards. We've got Zerha. We've got Curtis Taylor. We've got Jaden Stevenson. And I'm just thinking to myself, what are you guys talking about? Like, if Curtis Taylor doesn't get a game, we should be thanking God that someone better has come in. Same
Straight
with
up.
Stevenson. Same with Zerha. I'm sorry, like Zerha has great games. He'll kick like 4 or 5, and then he'll disappear for 5 weeks.
Yeah,
We don't
exactly.
need that. We need elite talent. Dersma's coming in saying, you know, like those forward mids say, oh, I want to play mid, but I'm a forward now, but I'm going to develop to mid. Dersma's saying, I'm a forward. Like, this kid's going to come in 190 centimeters, elite ground level, agility, goal sneak, great mark, takes hangers. Like, that's actually what we need, man. So everyone just calm down. We got some defenders later. We'll talk about them. You know,
But
you
in a,
gotta pick the
in a
talent.
rebuilding team, right? If you've got someone, you're taking a super talent.
Correct.
You need something everywhere.
Correct.
It's not like you're just plugging one hole.
Exactly. And if McKercher comes in and Simpkin gets less time on ball, but McKercher's better than him, that's a good thing.
Right? Yeah.
100%,
You know what I mean?
man.
So-
100%. Even though we've given, you know, dudes like Simpkin and Luke McDonald, for example, they're our, you know, captains, co-captains, whatever. Despite that, their spot shouldn't be safe at
No.
any point. Even your captain, you know.
You saw it with Port Adelaide and Jonas.
Yeah, he wasn't up to it.
Yeah.
There were younger guys that were playing better football.
Yeah.
Structurally, they made the team better. Then you know you freeze them out. You know that's fine.
100%.
You
And
know.
even like Simpkin last year was injured, concussed a few times, which was worrying. And while he's a great leader and apparently off field, especially like standard setter, you know, works really hard and things. Same with Lukey McDonald. But on the field, they've both been not conducive to winning, which is what we need to do. So I'm all for the talent. Those two at the top, I mean, you talk about people trying to say like, oh, package them for number 1. Like last year we got Sheezer Wardlaw. Nailed it. This year, if we've nailed it again,
It's huge.
that's how the club actually moves
Yeah.
forward finally. So really wrapped with that. And then obviously we had the other 3 first rounders. So one was from Port, which ended up as Taylor Goad, the ruckman
so
from South Australia. Kind of ironic there.
The Adelaide ruck that they probably would have gone for. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like the South Australian kid. And man, I'm excited about him, man. Like he's high potential there.
Yeah. Without dragging on too much, apparently he's pretty new to footy from basketball background, but ran the
That's
20...
already huge.
That's already says it
Basketball
all.
background in football is like a superpower.
Already says it all. And apparently he at the combine he ran the 20-meter sprint pretty much at the same speed as all the mids and way better than all the talls.
It's crazy.
So, and you see some of his highlights, like he'll burst out of the pack, shows a bit of that racehorse. What would you call him? The goad gallop?
The goad gallop.
The goad
You know,
gallop.
it's when he's like, he's got the ball and instead of, hand passing it to the runner, he just goes for the run himself. You know what I mean? After the play on, you know what I mean?
So definitely a potential pick there. We'll see how he goes. Will Dawson, another interesting one, like bit of a theme here with some of our picks. They're sort of late to footy. So this guy's, apparently he grew 20 centimeters in 2 years and became 180 centimeters to 200
That's what we got to
centimeters.
do, right?
I know, man. I'm still waiting.
Could you
bro.
imagine?
I'm still waiting.
So this guy's 200 centimeter key back. Pretty raw. But hey, we know we need key back, so always good to have a few developing on the list.
and the
then
future captain.
Man, this kid here, George, I highly recommend you actually listen to some of these kids' interviews. Riley
Well,
Hardeman.
we listened to it together, and I was
Yes.
pretty impressed. I
He's-
liked him. He just seemed genuine. He's funny, he's comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah, Riley Hardeman, man.
We
That's-
left the interview with the draft team and him going, shit, this guy's actually seems like a good kid.
Yeah. And he's one of those ones where we say Luke McDonald hasn't been performing. Well, this kid's coming in similar height, I think, sort of around that 185, 186. Left foot, seems like he can jump, seems pretty quick. So if he develops nicely, he'd be off halfback for North in the future, which is exciting. So overall, I think, look, North sort of did the right thing at the top. They took the elite talent, then they took a few projects and then filled a few needs. So got like tall forward, ruck, tall backs, halfbacks, half forwards, mids. So a bit of everything, which is awesome. So
Yeah, well, it's good because usually we seem to stock up on just mids, and it feels like we've got a little mix this year. So it's something to look forward to. Outside run, inside, a little bit of inside grunt. Yeah, no, it's good effort from our boys, I'd say.
Did you guys see the text message from Zach Fisher?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like bro, this is
Goaty.
awesome, bro.
Hey, Goaty, how's it going? Welcome to the bonus, mate.
It's like it's fish. It's fish. And the funny thing is, he says it's fish as if he expects him to know what that means.
Yeah. Hey, fish, mate. Goaty, it's fish, mate. It's Will Dawson.
Oh, man.
Also, Will Dawson, 1L in Will. Just putting that out there.
Oh, see, that's efficient. He's
Take of that what you will.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
What
you
I don't
will,
know
yeah.
what to take of that. Actually,
I
Yeah.
think Matsa put nail on the head there. Maximum efficiency.
100%.
Well, I have two.
100%.
One's enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That means his parents are efficient. So
Yeah.
maybe he learnt that trait off them.
He'll have like 5 of the best touches you'll ever see in
Imagine if
life.
he plays like his name.
Too good.
All right, next
So
pick
yeah, it was McKercher. Then we actually bid on Jed Walter,
Yeah, we did.
and then we
did.
took Dersma. So
Is there any point in ever bidding on someone that's just going to be taken?
No, you have to.
I think it's just to keep, even though it's very compromised, it's to keep it as honest as possible.
Yeah.
And look, let's be fair. Like Gold Coast have been given this huge advantage. It needed to be one of our picks to go for this guy. And as Jed Walter, as Dino has said in his rankings, he had him number 1.
I did.
So obviously a huge talent there. And
Huge
then-
boy.
Yeah, huge boy.
He took up the whole screen.
Yeah, bro, it was huge. So him, Reed, probably the best ruckman in this draft class, or the first ruckman taken. So we'll go with the best prospect, and then Jake Rogers, the small, smart guy. Will Graham. Was it Will Graham? Is that the guy's name?
Will Graham, yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a haul there, man. 4 first round picks.
100%.
Who did better, North or Gold Coast?
Aside from the top, which I think is pretty even, like obviously Walter, Dersma, McKercher, and then their Reed, Ruckman, Ethan Reed, very good. The difference being our later first round picks versus theirs. Theirs have more exposed form and have been in the system for years, which, like I said, North's ones are a bit more newer to footy.
True.
So right
Gold
now,
and-
you'd look
yeah.
at it, you'd say the Gold Coast ones are better now, but who knows? Yeah.
It's pretty exciting for Gold Coast because Damien Harvick talked about having 80% of the list, of the premiership list. But I mean, they've just picked up 5 players, haven't they, or 4 players?
Yeah, 4 players.
Four
That's
players.
You think
That's
it's 4
20%, bro.
It is. there you
4
go.
of 22. Yeah, it's about that. You know what I mean? So they might be on like 97%. of the Premiership list.
Then they'll
yeah.
just need to like recruit one more player from
Yeah.
the team just to.
And you know who that was? Jack Marnie.
Yeah.
Jack Marnie from the
in
rookie
the rookie draft, they
I
picked
couldn't believe it, man.
Mate,
Oh, did they? I missed
yeah,
that.
They did.
Shout out to him,
with
bro.
their last pick in the rookie
Are they
draft
gonna was he pick one? Was he was his number one?
at North.
Yeah.
Was it Matsa?
His
Jack
number.
Marnie.
Yeah,
I
what
can't
number? I
remember.
feel like it was a
Maybe.
high number.
Mate, I've already
You blacked it out.
Yeah,
out.
it's-
Mate, he could have been picked 40 some for all I know. I don't know. I didn't really like him.
No, like the number on his jersey. I mean,
Can't remember. Maybe you might be right.
Yeah.
maybe you can get
That's
that.
crazy that we've forgotten about him that quickly.
What
man.
is there to remember, mate?
Yeah, true. You know, him getting the ball, you know, dropping it, butchering the kick forward,
That's
you know,
fair.
bad hand. Yeah, no,
Was
it
he that
wasn't
bad?
much.
Look, friend of the pod, but like, let's be real. It's
Great kid. But,
great kid, but like, look, when you're a smaller player, this is the nicest way I can say it. When you're the smaller or smallest player on the field, you need to be zippy, great pressure, goal sneak. He's none of those things. Like, he's not quick enough. Apparently, he's a decent kick, but doesn't get it enough to even show it. So, yeah, I'm
So
not
what,
buying
what
it.
did Gold Coast see?
Honestly, I've got no idea. I've got no idea why
Man
they
just
brought him
wanted
in.
the Gold Coast lifestyle for one more year.
It's intriguing, especially because he's missed most of last year or last season with a shoulder. So,
Who knows?
Anyway.
I'm going to assume that they had interest in him in his national draft year. And they're just like, all right, here's our chance to go get the guy we wanted from ages ago.
maybe you just want good blokes on your list.
Yeah, he seems like, as we know, you know, friend of the prod, good guy. You know, so, you know, you need a few more of those in Gold Coast.
It's like
they
the,
get to be rowdy over there.
It's
you
like
know,
the
so-
last guy on the bench in the NBA, just the towel waiver.
Yes,
You know?
yeah. Pat Bev.
You need one of those guys.
So basically, he's the sub for the whole year.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh,
He'd be, if he gets the sub, I'd be very surprised.
So
That would tell me that Gold Coast probably isn't doing as well as they thought they would. But
yeah, that 80%, 60% if that's the case.
yeah.
So who's the
Um,
next pick?
Next
So-
pick was the Hawks.
Yes.
I like this one. So
Nicholas
you had it
Watson.
in your draft, Watson slipping a little bit, but he kind of went back to the 5 where he was kind of touted earlier.
Yeah, so I think the main reason for that is the Hawks didn't seem as keen on Curtin for some reason. I have my own theory, honestly, that Curtin wasn't giving utmost confidence in his desire to come to Melbourne, which I think makes a bit more sense than to go to Adelaide, which is less busy and less of a footy, 24/7 footy
Yeah.
world. So maybe I think that's why he slipped, because he's a very good player, Dan Curtin. So the Hawks are then pretty much choosing between Riley Sanders and Nick Watson. And they must just think, and fair enough, that their midfield's pretty good. Like, obviously, you got Newcomb, Will Day, McKenzie. There's some good pieces there.
McDonald on the wing.
McDonald on the wing.
Yeah.
Ward,
Say-
Josh Ward.
Yeah.
Would you say Warple as well?
Warple's still
Yeah.
there. So they've. It wasn't an urgent thing to bring in a Sanders type, who's a bit more just like a pure mid. And look, let's just have it straight. Nick Watson's a great player. I don't
Yeah,
care how small he is. If all things go well for him, he'll be one of the best small forwards and like game changers in the league.
I
So-
think that it's a perfect pick for the Hawks because they play a pretty like slingshot transition game. So they're the type of team that could create a lot of space in the forward line for a small to kind of, have him one-on-one, he's going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then they also got Ginnivan as well. So they've kind of added 2 talented smalls under the tutelage of Bruce,
Yeah.
right? Who's still around. So
And Gunston as well just came in. You know, those are two of the
Well,
best mentors you can get.
Yeah, and their
really.
forward line's just transformed completely now. So it'd be Mitch Lewis, Chol, Gunston, Bruce, Ginnivan, Watson. You'd think that'd be the starting forward line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
That's fun,
At the
and-
very least, it's fun.
And it kind of suits, like George said, the way they play. You get the ball in quick there. Chol makes a contest, and then you've got the Wizard and Ginnivan at your feet. So
2 very handy smalls.
and Bruce. So
They get to grow together. So I like it. I think the Hawks, we've seen that they're obviously going to continue to improve. They have like their best football for like a half. So they're still going to be dangerous at points next year. So he just adds to the danger.
100%.
Yeah, I was going to say the other picks for them: Will McCabe, another key defender to develop in the background.
He's the father-son, right?
yeah, he's the guy. Yeah, with the what was it? Yeah. Anyway, solid. We bid it on him actually. I just thought
We
we bid
did,
it on
yeah.
him. So, yeah, he should be all right in the next couple of years. Can't really see him getting a game soon. Like, even though the Hawks were really desperate to get a key defender, I think they'll just play Frosty for another year. To be honest with you, I think that's probably the go, because I think that's the guy that they want out of the out of the rotation a bit. And then the other 2 guys, I don't really know much about him. I know another father-son, Kel Shadir.
Cal Shadir, he's a father-son. And then they brought in Bodie Ryan, 187 centimeters, sort of like an intercept defender. So
And
from South
bro,
Australia.
they love those. They love those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That guy needs an R in his name, though, surely.
I know it's Bodie, not
Yeah, but
Brody.
yeah, that's a very Aussie name.
And
I
then
like
his
it.
last name's Ryan, so potentially could be Ryan Bodie, but
Yeah, did they just get it wrong?
is what it is.
Did they just read it wrong?
So no, I think good job on the Hawks. Obviously, they were always going to match the bid on McCabe. The later picks, time will tell. They did relist Wingard and Cooper Stevens though, so those guys sort of, falling out of favour a little bit, but giving another chance to them as well. So, good on the Hawks. Then there was the Doggies, who there wasn't much speculation about this pick. They traded up with clear reason to get pretty high up there, and pretty quickly took Riley Sanders. So, another midfielder to join their on-ball crew. Which,
Yeah.
tell me, Matsa, your thoughts on it, because we've spoken a lot about the Doggies not playing Bailey Smith on ball enough. Obviously, they've got a few pieces already of really elite pieces. What do you make of it overall?
Look, with the way their list is trending, with the amount of tools that they have, because the next pick after that was Croft, right? So Croft, Darcy, the draft before that, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You've got Norton, who you've signed to a huge deal. You have Jamara, who is probably going to sign for a huge deal. You needed some way to balance that out.
Yeah.
And I think that was getting like an elite midfield prospect in Riley Sanders. So I'd be very happy if I was them. I think it might be a precautionary thing to, Trelaw getting a bit older, Libba getting a bit older. Who's the other one? And then Bailey Smith, maybe he's really on the outs. Maybe that's the case.
Well,
for him.
Libba's pretty old as well, right?
Yeah.
So
no,
they
so-
do need some new, some younger players coming through. And they probably don't have many off the top of my head.
Young mids, like on-ballers, not too many come to mind. So, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And then look, they were playing Caleb Daniel in the guts during
True.
this year. So like, even though he was doing all right, I'd rather have him in the half back line, maybe even in the forward line. Use his pinpoint kicking around there. So yeah, I'd be wrapped if I was them, mate. Like the fact that that's how the chips fell for them. They end up with Riley Sanders. Yeah,
I would
very
say
good pick.
straight off the bat, I think he's a terrific player. Like, he gets sort of unfairly criticised that he's not quick enough or not as much of an outside player, but I think that's rubbish. Like, he's not McKercher-like speed, for example, in the same class, but sort of they're calling him more like a Matty Crouch just on baller, which I think's unfair. He's got the ability to run with his teammates, I think. So
Yeah, like look, from the footage that I've seen of him running, doing the outside run, he doesn't look any slower than Horn
Correct.
Francis. To be honest with you, like Horn Francis, he has that type of athleticism where, and that was one of Dean's comparisons in the video. I agree, he doesn't look that much slower.
Well, it's not necessarily about like leg speed, like it's burst, right? You don't have to be just a 100-meter sprinter.
correct.
You've got to be able to get out of traffic and get the hand pass.
Yeah, I think he's not as powerful as Horn Francis, but similar body shape and traits. So, yeah, very good pick there. You mentioned Matsa, Jordan Croft as well. So, yeah, this kid's really thin, tall. He's skillful, but it'll take at least a couple of years for him to get games.
Yeah.
And there's no rush, like you said. They've got enough.
Mate, they're so stacked.
Yeah.
They're so stacked in that regard. It makes me wonder whether like someone like Dramara will be like, hey man, I'm not going to re-sign the big contract and go somewhere else.
Depends, yeah.
Because they've just given Norton the money.
But he's not going to be starved of opportunity. So if he likes the
No.
club,
Yeah.
they just got to change the coach. We'll say we've been away from the podcast a couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to say Bevo out. But now I feel good again.
There's your moment. And then later on, they got Lachlan Smith, who's a ruckman from Gippsland Power. So at the time, they got
More tools.
the best available ruck. I guess that'll just be a long-term development.
Yeah, and a replacement for Jordan Sweet in the VFL side.
Yeah. They were kind of saying on draft night, maybe if English leaves in the future. Obviously, there's the Western Australia links there. But and then they also got Aidan O'Driscoll, who's Nathan's brother. Yep. And Joel Frazier, who's more of like a big winger, sort of pretty powerful outside player. So
That's a decent fit for them because, like, I feel like their wing position is just so up in the air. Like, is it Poulter? Is it the guy, the ginger guy?
Richards.
Nah, not Richards. Richards is good.
Yeah.
The other one who was
they recruited him
the Supercoach one
from Melbourne.
Yeah, I can't remember that guy. I'm so out of the footy.
We all
league.
had him on Supercoach.
Yeah, we all had him on Supercoach in our midfield today.
Yeah, I've completely forgotten who he is.
Yeah, but you can picture him.
No,
you
I know.
Yeah, that guy. You know what I mean? See how replaceable he is. Like we don't even know his.
They got rid of Crozier too, didn't they?
I believe so.
He retired, I think.
Did he retire?
Yeah.
He was a gun, man.
I think he retired.
I like
so they
Crozier
probably
a
do
lot.
need a winger.
Yeah.
Because Hunter doesn't play for
He's at Melbourne.
Yeah, Hunter's gone.
Hunter doesn't play
Hunter's
for
gone.
Bro, 4 weeks out of footy, you just forget everything.
Bad.
Oscar Baker.
There he is.
Running down the wing. That's him, man.
But Oscar Baker's not that good of a...
That's what I'm saying. I think Frazier's a good pickup
Yes.
for them, because it's just and Poulter, you know what I mean? Like who are these?
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, that dude went the wrong way in his first game. Anyway.
I should mention as well, Aiden O'Driscoll is very different than his brother. Instead of being a taller winger, he's more of a small forward. So just keep that in mind. Cool. Then we actually, speaking of Melbourne, we turned to Melbourne, who drafted Caleb Windsor at 7. So passed on Curtin.
Yeah.
Windsor sort of started getting a lot of draft attention in the build-up by Cal Toomey. And honestly, I see it to an extent. He's very fast outside wingman. But for me, I don't know. I would think Dan Curtin's the more high-end talent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But again, I'm a bit sus of the go-home factor specifically. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think you got to weigh up go home factor, but perhaps a higher talent or a dude who may just contribute straight away and have a decent amount of talent. And there's no real concern about Windsor leaving.
Nah.
There'd be no, a Melbourne boy getting, drafted by Melbourne.
So he's probably... Oh, sorry, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know. I'm lost, bro.
Oh, sorry, bro. I interrupted that,
No.
so-
You've probably got to say something better anyway.
So, well...
I have faith in
Now
you,
there's
bro.
a lot of pressure on what I'm
I
going to
have
say.
faith. Whatever you're going to say next is going to be nuggets.
Carlton's winning the flag next year.
There we go.
But Windsor is probably a player that could come in and play straight away for Melbourne, is basically what I was going to say. Especially, I don't know about this Clayton Oliver situation. We don't really know what to make of that, what he's going to come out next year. But,
True.
And Brayshaw has had his concussion issues. So it could be a situation where he comes in and has some sort of responsibility as a first-year player in their midfield. So, Melbourne traded up for picks, right? I think they do need a new up-and-coming midfielder. So,
Well, when you consider that Hollins for Carlton played most games last year, I think this kid has that similar sort of aerobic
that's right.
abilities, but seemingly a bit more skillful and a bit more X factor.
penetrating.
Yeah, more penetrating moving forward. So I think, they've definitely sort of drafted for need there. Even with Thorstrup, who they picked at pick 13,
Yeah.
he played senior. Was he in SA?
Waffle.
Yeah, he was in the Waffle pretty much all the year. He played senior games there as a sort of defensive small forward. But obviously there's untapped potential as well. So
Yeah. Well, they've really targeted the forward line.
Correct.
And the medium to small forwards like McAdam. I think there was another one as well that they picked up as well. But, Tholstrup and Windsor, he'll probably start as a half forward, or maybe play on the other wing to Langdon.
Yeah, I think you play with wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they've seen that they need those positions sort of, beefed up because they've had a few randoms going through there, to be honest. But yeah, did they have any other picks?
that was it, just 7 and 13. And then in the rookie draft, they relisted Malcolm
Okay.
and they picked up a father-son, Kynan Brown. So
Okay. See, that's the thing. Malcolm was a dude who was getting a lot of games, playing the half forward, type role. He's very replaceable. Let's be fair. As you can see, they put him on the rookie list.
No, but he's ACL.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh,
So
well,
he
there you
won't
go.
be back till
Yep.
maybe late next year. They make finals, he might be back.
So then they really did need a player in that position then, I guess.
Because Malcolm got injured
it would have been later in the season.
round 18, 17 vibe, I think.
Right. I think you started playing well.
Yeah, well, he played well, then he got injured.
That happens. That's happened to him a bit actually. They'll have a forward who actually gets into form and then he's out for the season.
Yeah.
Like Petty did the same thing. He was killing it at one point. It made him $1 million player, and then he got injured. So, it was
Even
crazy.
Joel Smith
Yeah.
had a good final, then had a drug scandal.
True. There we go. That's so.
If you're a forward, don't go to Melbourne.
it's kiss of death. Let's be fair. Even Ben Brown lost his hair. You know what I mean?
Ben Brown lost his hair.
That was it. You know what I mean?
Who's I don't know how I've forgotten this guy's name. The GWS player currently.
What from? Oh, Hogan.
Hogan.
Yeah.
Rising star
Yeah.
to nowhere man in Freo.
Yeah, that's bad luck for Melbourne forwards, bro.
Yeah, bad.
Fritsch. has that hair, bro. Like, what the hell's that?
Fridge is the only exception.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so
Next pick was
this is where it changed up a bit, right? So it was GWS.
okay,
But then Adelaide saw Dan Curtin slipping and said, we wouldn't mind us some Daniel Curtin. So they did a trade.
I reckon that's probably the best pick, for the draft. Really, the fact that you could get this high end talent slipping past, all the Melbourne-based teams, or not actually, slipping from us. I think it's a great pickup for them, and worth the risk because they didn't give up that much.
No, it was a fair deal, and I think this is why they brought in live trading so that you can actually pick up who you want to pick up if you're willing to pay the
If
price.
the opportunity, arises.
Correct. So, you see Dan Curtin, who could have gone 3rd, 4th, 5th, slipped to 8th, and you're Adelaide thinking, well, look, when was their pick? I think originally was it 11 or 12? It would have been 12, actually. You're thinking, geez, the guys we all like are going to be gone. It's sort of now or never. So, awesome move for them. He'll sort of slot in probably in the halfback line. Him and McElhaney, really exciting.
Yeah.
2 youngsters there.
How many dudes were they trialing in the back line last year? You know what I mean? Like Borlass was getting some time. Nick Murray got
Ball ass.
Borlace.
Never heard of that guy. I'm genuinely
James
I don't know who he is.
Borlace.
Got no idea who he is.
Yeah, he got re-rookied as well. Look at the rookie picks.
There you go.
Yeah, James
That's
Borlace.
like, trust me, bro.
Bro,
That guy played AFL.
Borlace was meant to be that guy. There was another dude that they trialed back there as well. They've had another. I swear, Borlace exists.
My favorite part is Matsa said it, and me and them like, for the professionalism of this podcast, we'll just go with it.
Genuinely, honestly, have not heard his name ever spoken.
Bro,
I believe you. I can see it.
Yeah, Borlace.
Bro, I had a gather round in Adelaide, and not one person saw this guy.
There you go. I learned something new today.
Anyway, so Jimmy B. So they got Jimmy B. They've tried a few guys down there. Okay, you can do a lot worse than having Daniel Curtin back there.
100%.
I think Nick Murray got injured and he was doing okay. There was Duday's gone.
Yeah.
And that's that's an upgrade, I reckon, just about.
And if you think back to my player comps, I did comp Curtin to a certain Jordan Dawson.
You did.
/ Darcy Moore, did I not?
Yeah, because he could probably go into the midfield at some point, couldn't he?
Look, it wouldn't be something I'd expect long term, but I mean, you look at Geelong, they're even throwing Tom Stewart there, so anything's up for grabs.
Yeah, true.
But I think having that left foot intercept ability and the height, he's even taller than Dawson. So
yeah, one's a left footer, one's a right footer, one on each wing.
No, they're both left.
Oh, is Curtin a lefty?
Yeah,
he's a lefty as well. Oh,
he's a lefty. Yeah.
Shows
He's
how
literally
much-
just a taller version of Dawson almost. So
That's pretty cool. Man. That's pretty cool then.
yeah, no, they've done well Adelaide. Then at 21, they picked up Charlie Edwards, who sort of a late riser on the boards. He was part of Sandringham's Coates League winning team. 190-ish centimetre mid, but they reckon he can sort of play defence while he develops. So sort of an interesting prospect there. And then Oscar Ryan, again around that 187 mark.
Yeah, the dude who looked blasted on draft day. He didn't know what was going on, mate.
I don't think he was expecting to be picked, to be honest.
No, not at all.
Had a couple.
Yeah, nah. But good on him though. That was the one where I think he took Connor O'Sullivan's jersey.
No, that was the guy with the funny name.
The
from
GWS guy, Phoenix Gothard.
Oh,
did he take
Yeah.
O'Sullivan? Oh, well, someone else then.
Someone else maybe.
There was
yeah.
a couple of people where that happened.
Yeah. But
Wouldn't
yeah.
you just bring it just in case if you're on the...
Yeah,
I
if
don't
you
know,
rock
that's-
up, yeah, no, you're right. Just bring it with you. Yeah, or just wear it, just to represent your,
Represent
your
your team.
junior club. Yeah,
100%.
They don't want to spill beer on it. That's why.
maybe. Or maybe it's just kind of like, oh, bro, look at this guy. He's bringing he's bringing the polo. What, you reckon you're gonna get drafted, boy?
Yeah.
Mate, you might not even get drafted at all.
How bad would that be?
Yeah, true. Yeah, they're probably saving themselves from that little.
Because people would be saying, not knowing you, oh, congratulations. You're like, no, not me.
Not today.
Not
today. Yeah.
I would say as well, actually, so that pick 8, which was GWS, then became Adelaide, was originally Richmond. because of their ladder position with the hopper and
Man, he'd be a
Toronto
great.
traits. So
He'd be a great fit at Richmond, man. Dan Curtin,
he would have been.
like him, Gipkus. Bringing them up into the. Actually, Gipkus might not even play again. What's going on?
He's
with
got
him,
some
bro?
really
It's
significant
bad.
hamstring injuries.
Yeah.
that he's
Did they
flown
send
over.
him overseas?
Yeah,
Yeah, they sent him to Dubai or Qatar or something. But like, if he was like fit, if he was able to get back into it, plus a Curtin, plus a Noah Bolter, that's a
Yeah.
dynamic defense.
That's why you don't trade future first round picks, in my opinion. That's just me, though. I don't know.
Hey, that's me personally,
that's me.
though. But yeah.
So we spoke about Gold Coast at 9. Then there was Essendon. So actually, this was Geelong
Yes.
at 10, and then Essendon's given them, I think, pick 37 to move up one spot to nab Nate Caddy.
Yeah. The Dora special.
Here's you knew I was going to say.
Yeah, I know.
All right. I've got no problem with trading a late pick to move up one spot and grab the guy you really like. So tick. Well done. That's a good move. But the media completely riding on Dodora here. Like
Yeah.
acting like it's a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Like, well done. I am willing to bet you my life savings Geelong was not going to take Nate Caddy. And that they've just flexed it, done a little cheeky, like, yep, teased it. We're going to pick him so that Essendon can pay up something. And that's sort of what it's all about, right? So I reckon Geelong played Essendon, and Essendon was happy to play along because it wasn't a steep price.
Yeah.
That's fair enough, both ways.
I think the concern was that maybe another club would come in and swoop for it. That was what they were saying. But like,
I don't know.
who knows?
I will praise Essendon for just getting their guy, but I'm not going to overdo the praise. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
Um,
But look, he's a good fit for what they have going on
Correct.
because I don't think they don't really have that many key forwards. Actually, what I'm saying, they got Peter Wright.
Peter Wright.
You got, was it Laverty who was playing forward?
Langford.
Langford. I get those two confused. Langford had a really good season. Caddy would be a decent, third tall option there. I don't
Or
mind that at all.
if Langford can do well in that system, I'm sure Caddy will at some point as well.
Yeah, true.
It's more physically impressive.
Yeah. And he's got an engine on him as well. So, whether he gets some midfield time, I think he might at some point. Won't be like consistent CBAs, but, might as well give him the opportunity because they don't really have a grunty, big, midfielder. Apart from Stringer when he's fit,
Yeah.
the 3 games a year he plays.
Can't rely on him.
I don't
can
think you
you?
can rely on him
Yeah.
anymore. He's old now too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
So,
And with the way he, the way he seems, he's not going to last. He's not going to be one of those dudes playing until he's 35. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
He seems like a bit of a, he enjoys his weekends, you know what I mean?
I think he enjoys his weekends. I think that's safe to say.
Weekend enjoyer.
maybe some weekdays, potentially.
Weekdays.
Some weekday enjoyers.
Yeah, true.
It's crazy the potential of Stringer, man. A couple of years ago, he was like almost the best player in the comp.
Yeah, when he would do that, the few CBAs and just win Essendon games.
Yeah.
Just on his own.
That was pretty crazy, to be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Bombers did that at pick 10, and then at pick 39, they picked up Luamon Lual, who at pick 40 would have been tied to the Doggies, I believe.
Yeah.
So they've just really done a dirty there on the Dogs.
I think they're actually going to just release him at the end of the year. They just wanted to mess with the Dogs.
Just out of spite.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like, we wanted Sanders,
Yeah, bad.
I think, he seems like he could be all right.
He's pretty short-ish for a defender. He's more like 180, not closer to 190, but really quick. So potentially an exciting player. And then Archie Roberts they picked up at 54, who was...
Apparently this guy's slider.
Yeah,
Big
huge slider, yeah. Probably the biggest one of the draft, really.
Well, he's just a halfback, kind of pacey, kind of a good kick. I think he's just really solid. I don't know if he's going to be anything special, but...
Yeah. Well, they lost D'Ambrosio, so there's a spot for one of those 2 later picks to fight for.
Correct.
So, yeah, there we go. Feels a need.
100%. And then they picked up a big ruckman in the rookie draft, Big Vigo Vicentini.
So is he brothers of Vicentini from Port?
I believe
Yes.
so.
Who's also like tall.
Yeah. So Big Vigo is 203, mate. So
And he's got a cool name too, Vigo.
very cool name.
Yeah,
VV.
that's it, man. That's it.
V for Vicentini.
There you go.
Is Vicentini? I think is that like a lemon or something in what is that? What is Vicentini? I'm sure that's a fruit in Italian.
Vicentini.
Have some Vicentine. You know what I mean? Little Vicentini.
Something else in Greek as well.
What's it in Greek? Is it appropriate to
the
say?
big,
Or
the big Vizu.
Oh, Vizi, that's hey, I didn't shorten it like that.
Shout out to our Greek listeners.
Yeah, true. If you know, you know.
Bit of a pop for them.
Yeah.
So let's move on. So the
Vigo
Cats,
Vizzy, mate. Let's
big
go.
Vigo. So the Cats just moved back one spot, picked up Connor O'Sullivan, who is probably going to be a key defender.
Yeah. He's pretty much the Radaglia replacement that, it's just fallen into their laps nicely. So
Geelong just picks up these tall guys and then they become elite key defenders out of nowhere. So
bad. Look at Sam de Koning, that one was really out of nowhere. Did not expect that.
They picked up a lot of players, Geelong.
Yeah, so they got O'Sullivan. Then later they picked up Mitch Edwards, who's a ruckman from WA, who's honestly, amongst all the rucks that got chosen, he actually was the Australia Academy's ruckman. So at this point in time, was considered their starter. But obviously, things can change with the tools. But
and you know what? He could even get time on the ground this year because they've got Stanley, of course. They had a dude who debuted at the end of the year and ruined my Supercoach year.
Conway?
Because Conway. He destroyed English and destroyed my Supercoach year. But anyway, so I've got beef with Conway. All right, but they're not guaranteed. First ruck. You know what I mean? Come on, it's Conway. He's this guy.
Yeah.
He's got beef with Conway.
Yeah. No, I remember we're sitting at what beach was it? Ayamarina Beach, and in Crete, and I'm sitting there pissed off that Toby Conway is killing Tim English. Tim English.
Is this the one where you had him captain?
Tim English captain.
I was next to you that time, and you just
That's what I'm saying.
You just watched Tim English. It was in the last quarter, and he resurrected the score a little bit.
He did, but it was like 102. That's not against a first game ruckman. 150 at least, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's harsh, man. That's harsh.
Yeah, no, that hurt. Anyway, where were we at? Geelong in the draft.
So they got Mitch Edwards. Then they picked up. This is an interesting one. That 36, Sean Manag.
Let's go Manag.
Manag.
We'll go with Manag.
Yeah. He was in Werribee's VFL team and a very good player apparently.
Yeah.
Sort of a medium, smallish forward mid. Kicked 6 goals in the Werribee final apparently. Mate, 26 touches.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 20 disposals, 6 goals in a granny.
Yeah,
that's impressive, man.
And Geelong does pretty well with the mature ages. So.
Supercoach option straight away, I'd say.
I think so. The next pick I really like.
I had him rated slider, right? He's a slider.
This guy here did his ACL last year. Then he comes back this year and he was captain of the Australia team. Plays sort of defender initially in his local team, but then midfield. And in the midfield, he was a beast. Like he's physically probably, like you'd look at him and say he's a 25-year-old AFL player.
Yeah. We're talking about George Stevens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we finally got a decent George in the system as well. Actually, there is a few now. George Wardlaw, George Stevens. There's a resurgence of Georges.
We're on the comeback.
That's it, man.
I'm nominating for the draft next year as well.
Yeah. You should.
So for a while, you guys were represented by George Holland Smith. And that was kind of it. What, you guys remember that
Hewitt?
guy?
George Hewitt?
Oh, yeah. You know, mate, there's some decent Georgies, mate. I don't mind them, man.
George Castagna. I never worked out whether his name was Jason or George.
Do you talking about Seinfeld or are you talking about Richmond?
No, Richmond.
That's Jason Castagna.
No, but it was Jason George.
Maybe they've said, because, George, maybe it was the Seinfeld reference.
George Castagna.
I swear his real name was George or some shit.
But no, I don't know. No? I don't know where you got that.
Right,
I don't know what media you're consuming.
You came up with a random Adelaide player that doesn't exist, and I'm telling you, this thing that I've said is right. This thing is right.
Oh yeah, there's a George Ballass, man. Nah.
Well, is Stevens quick or is he slow?
That's the knock on him. Is he's not known for his speed. He's just a big brute sort of force kind of player.
He may be a plotter, but I think with they have a funny today, I guess. I guess they've got a pretty what's the word? The young midfielders that they do have are quick. So he could fit nicely in that mix because they've got Bruins relatively quick. Max Holmes definitely quick.
Max Holmes is lightning.
Yeah. Cooper. I'm pretty sure. George Stevens. He's about 189, so tall. He's 100 kilos already.
I'm telling you, he's a monster.
Huge, man.
Yeah.
So he could just roll over, and as long as there's a little bit of fall on the ground, he can just continue.
Yeah.
Hey, potentially,
perhaps. Hey, that's so he's actually really quick as well.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Over long distances, he picks up.
It's exactly. It's like in Pokemon Rollout. Deano will know what I'm talking about.
That's a pretty shitty move.
Yeah, I know. You have to wait for it to become good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Then I think they bought back into the draft to pick up 2 more local boys. So they got Oliver Wiltshire and Lawson Humphreys. Honestly, I don't know much about them.
Yeah. Oh, no one did. They were top outside the top 100.
Yeah. So they're both sort of from that Geelong way. Which, you know what? Fair play to Geelong picking some local kids as well.
Yeah, some vibe picks. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what's a vibe pick? Emerson Jecker in the rookie draft.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
mate.
a vibe, man.
Yeah, because he's got they have to keep the best name in the AFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the best names in the AFL still.
That's definitely one of the best names.
Emerson Jecker. Bruh.
Actually, can I just bring up something about the draft that I forgot to mention before?
Yeah.
So you know how I like sort of routinely complain about certain things like umpires or whatever? I've just been drafted interview. My goodness. Like Ben Dixon, bless him. But like, man, they were some of the worst interviews. And it's not even his fault, right? Like we all know he's been given flashcards. Like, hey, let's ask this player about his, like with Dersma. It's like, oh, I heard all your siblings are like the names start with XY, WXYZ. Is that true? Like, come on, man. Like this kid's just had his dream of being drafted done, and you're asking him questions he's been asked like 1,000 times.
But the thing is these guys, they probably get some media training like really early, right? But they haven't, right? They're just kids, 17, 18-year-old kids. So their ability to kind of hold the mic, hold the conversation, answer the right way is limited as well.
I think just simply ask them, mate, how does that feel? Let them say whatever they want. And
Oh,
just say,
mate, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
But that's actually not a good question because they all say, oh, yeah, dream come true, yeah, stoked. And they're all
that's
Aussie.
okay. That's
Yeah.
fine. It's better than asking them, so I hear you're a decent Uno player. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not fair. It's not fair on the players. Their minds are probably spinning. Like, come on. Anyway, no offense to Dicko.
If he actually is a decent Uno player, that's quite a flex.
There was one dude who they've talked up as an Uno player because they did an Uno comp at the AFL Academy. I can't remember who it was. Was it Harley? Nah. Maybe it was George.
Oh, you're right. It was a few of them. Yeah, they were talking about it.
They definitely did that. So,
So anyway, look, I don't know the solution. I just know that's not the answer. Let's leave it at that. We'll workshop something.
well, thanks for just posing this problem and not giving us a solution.
Yeah, basically creating a problem.
No, just here's the solution. Ask how you're feeling. Be in the moment with them and let them go. That's my solution.
Ask them about the team, maybe.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Are you excited about joining North?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I think I say, yeah, man. Got a good young list, man. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
coach,
I
good
love
coach.
Boomer Harvey. Yeah, that's fine.
Can't wait for Zach Fisher to call me by the wrong name. You know, all those things.
Cool. Sorry about that. But next pick, so GWS finally back on the board now. They picked Phoenix Gothard, which me and Matsa, who were following the draft at the time, just erupted like, whoa, well, what the heck has just happened?
That was the first big slip, or no, not slip, the opposite of slip. Bolter,
yeah.
reach of the draft, we'll say. With Gothard, they must have had some sort of intel that Melbourne really wanted him before that or something. Because that was the pick directly after, which was Tholstrup. Yeah, I don't know.
And he was the one where he didn't have his local team's top on. So O'Sullivan, who's just been picked, here's his best mate.
Yeah.
Go next and like freaks out.
You can see him. O'Sullivan's in the interview, they're talking to Joel Selwood.
Yes.
And he's like shaking his hand and stuff. And then like halfway through the conversation, he hears that his friend's gone drafted. And the funniest thing is, one of the Geelong draftees or head players is kind of motions, go play. It's like a mum's taking you to the park and allowed you to go play with your best friends or something like that.
That's cute.
So hilarious. Because he kind of looked at him, do I have permission to go?
Yeah. And that was cool, a really cool moment because there was a lot of other of their mates there and obviously scenes when he got picked. So, look, you watch this kid's highlights. He's a small forward, let's say, but he's got a bit of zip to him, good IQ, like he lowers the eyes, hits targets. Seems like a very GWS player, in my opinion. But yeah, definitely very surprising that he went at this point.
Yeah. And then the next one was a guy who they were linked with for that early pick. It was James Leake.
James
Leake. Yeah, but again, both very GWS type picks, which, it's basically, all right, we've already stocked up on the the inside mids. We've got key positions sorted. Now let's just get that in between area,
Correct.
And Leakey's a bit of a utility, bit of forward, bit of back.
Sort of that like elite role player that GWS seems to have quite a few of. So
yeah.
Very nice of them. They did pick up an academy boy as well, Harvey Thomas, as well as Joseph Fonte, who I don't know too much about him. Joe Fonte, he's 189 centimetre.
Cool name as well.
Player. They've got him as a defender here. I honestly don't know too much about him, but he's from WA.
Yeah.
With that height, Might have a bit of wing time potentially, a bit of halfback. So see how he goes.
Did you say 170
189.
or 189? Oh, okay, so he's a big kid. Okay.
Yeah, he's a pretty big boy. So, and then next one. So Matsa, you mentioned Colton Thorstrup and Melbourne maybe having some intel with Gothard. So they've clearly sort of actually we spoke about Melbourne, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We did speak about them. So to your point though, they probably did have some sort of intel.
You have to think that like these clubs have way more information than we do. So
Yeah, 100%. And then the next few picks, we've already spoken about their team. So Jake Rogers, Jordan Croft, Sydney, first ruckman that was non-academy in the draft. So they've picked up Will Green from Victoria.
Interesting one because they did just pick up Brodie Grundy. You know what I mean? So obviously it's not a, what's the word? It's not a win now move. They just must have seen something in Will Green that they liked, as a developing type player.
Well, how old is Grundy?
Grundy would be probably 30 now, I would say.
So it's kind of a genius move to say, okay, we've got Grundy now. We'll see out his contract. He'll be 32, 33.
Yeah.
And then we've got this kid who we really rate and he's going to be ready to go. So if all goes to plan, they won't need to worry about their ruck stocks for years.
Yeah, true.
Which is important because you can get rucks, but there's only a few really good ones. So
yeah, true. And look, I think most of the good rucks have been drafted around that period. So it's like late, like at this point, it's almost it's late first. It's almost second round. That's where all the good ones are.
That's true.
To be honest.
That's
so
true.
yeah, maybe they've got something there. They've got some sort of intel that they know. That there's what's the word? That there's clear growth from the kid. So yeah, why not?
And I think as well, there was talks that the Saints were interested in him as well. So a few picks later, actually, we'll stay on Sydney. Sorry.
Caden
what
Cleary.
else? Cleary, yeah. So he was a academy pick for them.
Yeah. So he's going to be another, Golden /
He's a grunt. He's an inside mid.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a grunt.
Is he?
So
There you go.
they just added more grunt to the midfield.
Which is pretty much what they needed.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
And then they got Patrick Snell, a key forward, 194 centimeters later in the draft. So
Interesting.
I don't mind taking a pick, on a potential key forward. Like North did it with like pick 70 back in the day with Larky. So
Yeah, well, there you go.
not all are going to turn out that good,
Yeah.
but
Mitch Lewis was also a really high draft pick. High, low, whatever you want to call it. He might have been
pick. Yeah.
60, 70, 50, something like that.
Yeah, it was late. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, fair enough. I mean, you never know with these guys how they develop, but
I was going to say about Mitch Lewis. They just thought it was because, Sam Mitchell retired that year and Jordan Lewis retired that year. They just thought that they wanted, they needed to fill the name.
they kind of had
quota.
to, didn't they?
Yeah,
they already
did.
had the name tags ready. So
Yeah,
what
exactly.
are they going to do? Throw them out?
Exactly. And then it's like, oh, this kid can play, Worked out all right for them. Yeah.
So yeah, that was Will Green and Sydney at 16. Then Leak with the Greater Western Sydney Giants, and then next was the Saints. So what I was saying earlier was I think the Saints wanted Will Green,
Yeah.
so Sydney's just jumped on it there. Instead, the Saints got Darcy Wilson with pick 18. Honestly, like I was keeping an eye on a lot of the players at this point due to North being on the clock soon. I'm not a big Darcy Wilson guy personally. I think he's a solid guy. Probably suit what the Saints need, which is a bit more run on the outside, and I think he's more sort of like a wingman halfback. But sort of, I mean, they've got quite a few wingers now, though, don't they? Like,
But I think that's just the way they like to play.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
love, free-flowing running after, the harsh defending that they do as well. So,
I feel like they just need outside class in general. But if you look at their last couple of drafts, they had Miller, one guy named Miller. They've got Philippou. Now they've added Wilson and also Collard.
yeah,
So-
he's nice, Collard. Good pick.
yeah, he's the one that Georgie just got away. They just
Yeah.
got away from
I
him.
don't know that much about him, but I was upset that we didn't get him. It just felt like he was the one we were meant to get. And Silvani being like Silvani, right?
Yes.
Peaking right before Carlton, just digging in the heels. He's meant to be doing like inside trading for Carlton. That's his job.
I swear Silvani's first priority is how do I piss off as many people as possible, then how do I benefit my team.
Yeah.
That's his sort of preference.
That's his way of list management.
Correct.
The Dora's is how do I get everyone to think I'm the best?
Yeah.
And then who do I pick? List managers with personalities need to go away, in my opinion.
North Melbourne's just like, how do we be the best blokes possible and just give everyone a fair deal?
Yeah, no, you're right. We don't really screw anyone over, Unfortunately, but yeah.
But yeah, so the Saints get Wilson, then Collard, Angus Hasty at pick 33. He's more of a bit of run off halfback.
That's all they wanted, man.
Yeah.
That's all they got.
And then Hugo Garcia, who 185 centimetre forward apparently, so probably got a bit of zip to him. I don't know too much about him.
Showmaker was the other one.
Yeah, this guy slipped. He was the very last pick, I think, or one of
Yeah.
the last.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into the reasons I've heard, but I've heard some really bad, like, what's the word? Disciplinary issues.
Oh, right.
But, like, look, they've given a guy a chance who has clear talent, you know, and let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he'll clean up his act and, you know.
Well, one of them we can talk about, which was actually public knowledge now, which was something to do with buying alcohol underage and with his mates and whatever.
Maybe even,
something like that.
Yeah.
And he got suspended. But then there's others. Yeah, we won't comment because
it's speculation.
Yeah, speculation.
It's like,
but look, in terms of his talent, I've mentioned him throughout the year to Matsa because I've been watching pretty closely. He has some games off halfback where he takes the kick-ins, and if the team's kicked a lot of behinds, he will get like an insane number of rebound 50s, an insane number of kicks.
He's a long kick too, isn't he?
Yeah, he'll have like 25 kicks to 2 handballs sort of thing. And he's tall. So
he's a Supercoach pick as well.
100%, mate. 100%.
Oh, look, if he's on kick-ins, now the only thing is, like, some people think his kick is amazing. Other people think it's just a long kick. Because there is a difference, right?
Yeah.
Like, is he handsome or is he just tall?
Yeah, something like that, right? So, from my point of view, I think he's talented.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason he slipped. Probably partially the off the field stuff. Probably partially as well. I think a lot of clubs think he's a bit overrated in terms of the quality of his kicking.
Yeah, well, I guess he's not particularly quick for a player is he a key defender? He's 194 centimeters. Is he key or is he, a flanker? He's kind of that in between.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the players that aren't that quick have actually the ones that slide as well. And I think the modern game is one where you have to be. Every team is looking to add pace to the way that they play.
Yeah,
that's just the modern game. So if you're not, if you're a plugger like Matsa said before,
I
you've
think
got
plodder.
no plugger.
Plogger.
Is that what I said?
No, he must have said plotter.
No, I would have said plodder.
You said plotter. Georgie's just...
Yeah,
I just like the letter G, man.
Plogger. Georgie G. Man.
If you're a plugger or plotter, up to you.
Up to you.
I don't know if anyone's really saying, "Hey, I'm a plotter." No one's ever gonna say that about themselves.
They're at like
I'm one of those slow mids.
You're at one of those like alcohol anonymous meetings. Huh? I'm a plugger. My name's George. I'm a plugger.
Yeah. Michael Barlow runs those meetings.
Mickey Barlow.
After the injuries, he ran those meetings. Shout out to Michael Barlow, man. North Melbourne.
Didn't he become like a coach now?
Yeah, he's a development coach at North Melbourne. So I hope he does really well.
The Saints.
I don't.
Stuff it. The Saints picked up Riley Bono in the preseason draft as well. So
true. Well, that's not bad.
All right. That's more outside run.
I actually think they've done all right.
he might play a few games off halfback for them. Why not? Cool. So we've spoken about then the Hawks matched the bid for McCabe.
Yeah.
North had another pick there in Goad.
What was the next?
Then the Crows had Edwards. North again with Dawson. North again with Hardiman.
Yeah.
Sydney with Cleary. Collingwood. Harry DeMattia. Now, on draft night, I was sort of thinking, I like this guy a lot. I was sort of keen on North to take him, but we went the Hardiman route. And
apparently he's a bit of leadership potential, high footy IQ type of player, kind of ready to kind of get involved.
Yeah. He's another one. He had like cricket as a priority apparently and then switched to footy. So the main thing about him though is his speed. Really fast. Can run all day. And the Collingwood guys have sort of said, if you can't run, you can't play with us.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like the way that they play, yeah. And the next one as well, was it straight after that? Jath, yeah. Another quick guy as well.
Well, it's interesting because is Giath going to play halfback like his brother?
Yes.
Because it says in the profile here with DiMattia, it says definitely Harry starting as a high back. No doubt we'll see him in the midfield in the future, but they want to help release Nick Dacos into full-time midfield. So they've picked two half-backs, and now Dacos is going to be a full-time mid next year.
Fitting, really.
Fitting.
I think I like it.
Well, Giath, I think, given how good Collingwood is, I don't think he'll play to start with, but DiMattia might.
Yeah. Jath, how tall is he? Is he like high 180s?
Nah, he's not as tall as you'd think. He's about 184, 5.
I don't know why I thought that he was a bit taller. and he could possibly replace Nathan.
Yeah,
Murphy
or he
if
can
doesn't
jump.
play.
He can jump like anything.
Yeah.
Actually, they've listed him as 188.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, if he can play tall, then was it Nathan Murphy who had the concussion issues?
Yes.
If there was some, I hope that Nathan Murphy can come back and play. But maybe that could be a sort of replacement. Athletic, undersized defender.
Well, you know what? They're such a good team. I guess you can plug in a few youngsters, even
Yeah.
if they're a bit raw, right? So, no, I like it. I mean, Collingwood, when you're the best team, you know what makes you good, and you just reinforce that.
Yeah, it's got to maintain.
Yeah, obviously
At this
they brought in Schultz as well. Like they're going to be excellent again next year. So, well done to the Pies. Just sort of going through the rest of it. Who haven't we spoken about? Brisbane Lions were on the clock on night 2.
Yeah.
Pick 31. So they went for Logan Morris.
Yeah. Great pick.
I quite
Great
like
pick.
him.
Yeah. He is supposedly the best, if maybe second, third best contested mark in this draft class. And that is a huge part of the game. You need the bailout kick going out forward. If he can provide that in the future. Look, I'm not even against him even, displacing like a Hipwood sooner than later. If he can, he would be a better fit. You know what I mean? Because they need a contested mark type guy.
It's interesting because he slips a little bit, not on his skill. He's a great mark, great kick, really efficient forward, but he's 191 centimeters and his physicality more points towards key forward than medium forward.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't know if he's going to grow a few more centimeters and become 194.
True.
It's only 3 centimeters. He's 18 years old. So I think it's a worthy gamble on just a good footballer in general.
It looks like from their list that they've got focused more on tools.
Yes.
Who's the next pick? Wasn't it another
Lloyd.
Luke Lloyd, 193 centimeters. So again, I don't know too much about him, but he's, again, more of a raw key forward, 193 centimeters.
And they also picked up the Hawthorn guy who had the generic name, but he was really good for them.
Who's that?
They've got Zach Ostelsky,
Yes.
Torrent, and
he's
Revel.
another tall, isn't he?
Zach Ostelsky is definitely a tall. Yep, he's a defender / ruck. Probably a defender. And then Reece Torrent, I don't know too much about, but he's listed at 184.
Yeah. Who's the guy that they got from Hawthorn that they paid a second round
the
pick
mid-season pick.
for? Is it Brandon Ryan? Is that his
Yes,
name? Brandon
yep,
Ryan.
yep.
Yeah. He So they've clearly seen that, that they need to replenish the tall stocks. I like it, to be honest with you, because Danaher, you can't touch his spot. He's a gun.
Yeah, had a
The
great year.
Hipwood is similar to Danaher in their sort of physical, their build, and as a player, they're not the strongest mark.
No, they do need a grunt forward.
Exactly. And they went and got Gunston last year, and he wasn't that.
That's true. And then, I mean, Danaher's had a good run of health lately, all things considered, but you can't just have Hipwood and Danaher, and then what happens next?
Yeah, exactly.
So fair enough. You want to just stock up and prepare for the future as well.
Yeah, I like it.
So fair enough to the Lions. I reckon that's pretty good work for them. And then sort of moving down the list here, have we spoken about Freo yet?
No, we haven't. 'Cause
okay.
This will be their first pick.
So at pick 35, they go Cooper Simpson.
Yeah, who Matthew Pavlich picked up from the airport. Gave him pick 29, and said, "All right, son, I'm picking you up."
Well,
Bit of a bold call on a pick 35.
Yeah, 100%. The last pick 29 wasn't good from memory. I think there was another guy in between.
Yeah, they
who got
did.
it. I can't remember who it is. Shows how good they would have been.
Yeah, no, he's forgettable.
Yeah.
But Cooper Simpson, so he's 182 centimeters, but he's a really impressive athlete. So pretty powerful, pretty quick. Interesting to see how he works with their current midfield. So obviously Sarong and Brayshaw, neither of them are really exploding out of the pack with great power. So if he can be that different kind of athlete in there, it might be a nice little blend in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they've got a lot of options in the inside midfield category. Like Matt Johnson as well. I rate him very highly.
Yes.
Obviously Stilo Mira. Five probably won't get another inside mid gig.
I think Five's done, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
right.
good. They then, just a few picks later, picked up Ollie Murphy, who's a key back.
Another slider.
But honestly, I called this one. I didn't want North to touch him with the earlier picks. I think he's just very raw, and he didn't test well in vertical jump speed over the 20 meters. So really, if you're just going to be drafted because you're tall, I don't know. For me, you need to show a bit of something.
Fair enough.
He could very much develop in 3-4 years to be a good key back, and he's tall, 200 centimeters. But I think that's a fair spot for a raw, skinny key back.
Yeah, and
So-
they don't really need a key back to come in and do a job right now because they got rid of Logue last year. You know what I mean? Like obviously they're stacked with options.
Yep.
Pierce. I'm struggling with names today. The guy who's the defender / forward in Supercoach who went crazy at the start.
Oh, Cox.
Brendan Cox. Yeah,
Luke Ryan plays tall sometimes.
Yeah, they have heaps of options in the defense. So
No, fair
Corey
enough.
Wagner.
Corey Wagner, oh, mate. Goat.
Actually, speaking of their midfield, they're playing Hayden Young there more and more as well. Let's not forget that. So interesting there. And they did draft Jack DeLeon, who's a small forward. So I actually
Nice.
quite like him. I think he's pretty good.
Nice.
I
Is he a Western Australian kid as well?
think he's from SA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, close enough.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
both
pretty
the
much.
same, those states.
Anything west of Melbourne and Victoria is
Yeah.
pretty much WA.
Bad. Any other teams?
So
we haven't
that's fair.
talked
Who
about?
haven't we
There's a
spoken
couple.
about?
We haven't talked about the greatest team in the land.
Carlton. Oh yeah, we skipped Carlton, bro. Sorry.
Did we?
I was
Yeah, we
going to
did.
wait to save them for last. So since
No,
you
we
skipped
did. Sorry,
no,
man.
Geez.
You should've
All right,
mentioned-
let's go.
No,
Let's do
we're
it,
leaving
man.
them last because let's get to Richmond.
Yeah,
We'll
Richmond.
leave him to last.
did-
Fine.
Kane McAuliffe
Kane McAuliffe. Yep. So
and
he's,
Liam Fawcett. So big body midfielder is McAuliffe, and then Fawcett's a 197 tall. I
Yep.
don't know anything about him, but
They need tools, so probably good that they picked up.
I like the McAuliffe pick in terms of what he projects to be. I don't know if he'll live up
he's
to
a
that
very
potential.
good cricketer apparently.
Yeah, and he's got he's another powerful midfielder, not so much an accumulator. He's more like impact.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Picking a good athlete there, I reckon.
The other one's Port. So this is funny, right? Because their first pick is 48, and they pick up Tomas Anastasopoulos.
They picked up Anastasopoulos.
They're gonna struggle. The commentators are gonna have to come up with a nickname for this guy.
Oh, look, they'll figure. They'll go Anastasopoulos. They'll
I reckon
figure.
they'll struggle because they call Filippo.
Yeah,
which
true.
Kills me every time
Well, hang
I
on,
hear
that's
it.
that's Philippou's fault because he says it's Filipao.
Does he say that?
Pretty sure he says it like that.
Ah,
Filipao.
right. Well, that's
It's his
fault.
fault.
Maybe.
Probably he's sick of it after all these years of them butchering it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he just wants to make Kachow his
That's
his
what I was thinking as well.
phrase.
Filipao.
You know what I mean?
Kachika.
Hey, now you got Chica. Now you got Dow and Filipao, baby. You know, the Kachow double.
Kachow double. But yeah, so the power they bought in. This was actually North's pick.
Yeah.
they-
So it would have been cool if we had a Greek boy in the blue and white, but it wasn't to be.
yeah, you put a little cross somewhere in the jersey.
Yeah,
Greek
man.
flag.
Wow, that'd been tough, man. We would have got him on the pod easy.
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Easy.
Do you guys know anything about Charleston and Lawrence?
Charleston's another small forward. So both him and Anastasopoulos are small forwards.
And I think Will Lorenz might be as well.
Jeez, so they're stacking up on those smalls, which fair enough. Because
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think what their team needs. A bit of forward pressure is always good.
Well, they've got the
You
key
know.
positions now. They brought in Ruckman.
Yeah.
Ruckman, key defenders. Their forward line's got some good young tools.
So they've added some forward half smalls.
Yeah, I
they had
don't
a small
mind that.
forward that I already liked. They had Willie Rioli, but they had another dude who I liked as well. But I couldn't tell you names because I'm just out of the footy.
We haven't spoken footy in a while,
I
man.
know,
Yeah.
but there was, and I've talked about. I gave him his flowers on the pod, which we haven't done in a while. But I gave that small forward flowers. Can't remember his name, but So
McEntee.
McEntee, yeah, McEntee.
McAtee.
Yeah, that's
There
thank
go.
you. I would know. There is no way on earth I would have got Jed McEntee.
When you can't think of a name, it's the most annoying thing ever.
Yeah, no, because now it's like it's all Premier League and NBA. So, and we'll probably have to get through this pretty quick because it's getting dark. I just realized
We started at 9 a.m. this morning.
it's getting
All right. Well,
dark,
we've
man.
saved apparently the best for last.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just going through to see if we've missed anyone, but it doesn't look like
No,
it.
I think we're up to Carlton, George. So take it away.
so
What
we-
have you seen about your new boys? What are
Alright,
you
so
excited
you know how I
about?
said Carlton win the flag?
Yep.
Or Carlton's win the flag.
Oh, damn.
Oh, jeez.
All right, end the pod now. We're done.
Let's see.
Nah, so we've got Moya.
Why?
So he apparently is equally as good on his left and his right foot.
He is.
He's one of those guys.
He can kick set shots from 45 out on both feet,
Yeah.
which is
So
interesting.
it seems like he's quite a talented player. Apparently really highly touted last year.
He
Then
was.
kind of
Yep.
didn't have as good of a season. But look, with Carlton, right? it's clear a couple of years ago that they had like the big bodies. They had like the Crippses, they had the Witterings, they had the Kerno and Mackay combo. Over the last couple of seasons, they've had run to their list because we're kind of a plotter team, right? now they're adding some runs. So, for example, last year they brought in Akers, they brought in Hollands, right? Suddenly your wings are sorted, right? You got Camporelli's coming next year, and then you add Elijah Hollands, a forward half player, right? You add this guy Moya, who's like another forward half, kind of talented, good kick, can kind of add the class around the field that we need with both of those players. Also brought in Fantasia as well. So speed, small forward thing. So they're just putting pieces around the big boys.
He'll play about 3 or 4 good games for you, I reckon.
Yeah. That's preliminary final, grand final.
True.
And BT will be the commentator for every one of those games as well.
Has to be. Has to be.
It's like, impromptu commentary from BT. He just rocks up. He wasn't meant to be him, but...
So I usually hate BT's commentary, but now that it's about Carlton, I love it. So we'll see what he can do. Apparently he's very, very highly talented. So and then the other one is Billy Wilson. Bill Bucko
Wilson, man.
Billy the Kid. So only a couple of selections after at 34. Who, interesting, he was listed as a general defender or genuine defender.
Genuine defender. Generational defender.
Yeah, generational.
Genius
defender. But actually, the interesting thing about him is he played some midfield towards the end of the season. And Nick Austin, the list manager for Carlton, said that they're going to play him as a midfielder. So they've picked this guy who's listed as a defender as a midfielder. And apparently he's really bursty.
He's fast.
So, again, follows the trend of adding speed around the ground, running power around the ground, and a forward half talent with Carlton selections to complement the established players they already have. So that's kind of... And then Matt Carroll was a rookie draft. Apparently Matt Carroll probably could have been selected in the first... not in the first round, but on draft night, and slid to the rookie draft. So apparently he's got some talent as well. So
something I was going to say, Billy Wilson, Dino and I were talking about a dude who apparently North was looking to trade into the 30s. Apparently he was the one.
Really?
That's what I've heard in the rumors, is it was Billy Wilson. So there you go. And that it kind of makes sense because we seem to have gone for a lot of, outside, quick, bursty type players. So
because apparently North tried to move a future second to get in the 30s, which would be losing value really. But might have been for him, Geordie.
Well, I just like from Carlton's perspective that they kind of know that they need to add the outside pieces, and they're getting there. They're getting there. I like the Fantasia pick. If it's not on draft night, but he's added to it. I like Elijah Hollands. This Moya guy, obviously, I don't know that much about, but we'll see what he can do. Wilson's a burst player. You got Hollands developing.
Zach Williams hopefully to
Zach
return.
Williams comes back next year. So, there's a bit of that speed, bit of that mongrel that's added to, the big boys.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I guess and
also, I think these type of players, especially Moya, is a type of player that could actually, and Hollands is the type of player that might actually play as well, fit into this team because they, like if Jack Martin's injured, one of those guys comes in type of thing. So, Cripps is not replaceable, Walsh is not replaceable, but these half forwards, these small forwards, there's still spots for them in the team.
Yeah. And I was going to say, you only need of those list of guys you mentioned, like 1 or 2 of them to have a positive impact.
Yeah.
And it can go a long way.
Yeah.
So I think considering where you're selecting, I think you've chosen some players that actually fit what you need, which is always...
Which makes sense if you're a team that's projected to be higher up in the ladder, right?
Correct.
You've got most things understood, or hopefully have most things understood. So...
Similar to Collingwood's haul, I think. Like, Collingwood knew what they wanted, got it. You guys knew what you wanted, got it. So I guess that's the benefit of being one of the better teams in the comp, is you can... Like, North's thrown a few darts at the board, hoping a few of them will land, especially with the late first rounders, whereas teams like Carlton and Collingwood can be a bit more targeting and confident.
And it's interesting, you're kind of replacing Zach Fisher and Paddy Dow with these 2 players, right?
Yeah, true.
Kind of, we weren't that crazy this draft. It's kind of trade out those players, get Holland to then get 2 kind of late first rounders. And Zach Fisher's a half forward or half back now, but Moya, and Dow's a burst mid, replaced by Billy Wilson's a burst mid. So we'll see. Obviously, Fisher and Dow were much highly touted players than these guys in terms of draft picks. But Fisher was 27 or something like that, but Dow was 3. We'll see what ends up happening. I messed that up. When it comes to a couple of years into their career.
Yeah, I'm curious actually. Who was out of our picks? Who was the Carlton pick? Would it end up being Dawson? Or was it the pick
It would
after?
be.
Would it be Hardiman or Dawson? Goad was the Port pick, and then we got Carlton's pick, and we got someone else's pick.
It's hard to know because the draft got pushed back so much. We had picked like 21 or something and ended up being 29.
It might have been the last one, which was Hardiman.
Okay, and if that's the case, it's an interesting little storyline there.
Yeah.
Add that to the, it would be Hardiman and Fisher for, your two boys.
Moyer and Wilson.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Keep track of that next year, maybe.
That's it, man. That's it. And look, I guess part of that deal is that you guys will get off of Zach Fisher's money as well. You know what I mean? So that's part of the deal as well, because you pay the rookie guys.
Also, he
less.
kept calling Cripps Doherty. He kept screwing it up.
Yeah, that's true. He couldn't. That's the reason why they got rid of him.
They were sick of his dyslexia, so
Yeah,
they spirited him.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but,
Fair enough.
Well, Fisher was Instagram. He's playing golf with Zerha. Man slid into the DM straight away. He's playing golf with the boys.
yeah.
He's posting a pic in North Melbourne jersey out on the ground.
So we have a few Western Australians, man. Like Cam Zerha. Pretty sure Logue is Western Australian.
They're best mates.
Yeah, the best mates. There you go.
They were out
Hardiman
to
now.
lunch the other day because I follow Fisher on Instagram.
You haven't disfollowed him, unfollowed him yet
no,
because he's moved.
No, man, he's my boy.
Nah, fair enough. He really was your boy. You were really into him.
I said this guy was going to be an All Australian.
You did say that.
Yeah.
And then
100%
he's
did.
been traded out of this team.
Oh, man.
And he will be an All-Australian next year.
If he's an All-Australian halfback next year, which he won't be, but if he is, that'd be the most ridiculous thing ever.
Mate, can't rule anything out. That's the beauty of the off-season, George. Anything can happen, mate.
That is true.
All these clubs have sealed their fate now. We'll see. We'll know in a couple of years who did the Malak years and who didn't.
Yeah, true. I think
Malak
like
years.
overall,
3 years Harley Reid's out of the system. Who thought this guy was good?
No way.
Anthony Bennett of the AFL.
you wouldn't have thought. But no, draft is always fun. I mean, especially teams on the bottom had nothing else to really go for in the second half of the year, so it's good to finally get it done. It takes a while to come around, doesn't it? Jeez, but really exciting. We'll do a few pods in the coming weeks, potentially just projecting some teams next year.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more of a.
I don't know. I
breakdown,
might
perhaps.
come up with a couple themed ones. I don't
Yeah.
know. I like getting creative with the pod idea. So we'll see how we go.
Christmas pod, surprise guest Santa.
That's it, man. Get him on, man. Get him
That's
on.
it. Sounds good, man.
Whose dad wants to dress up as Santa and get on the pod?
Not me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll leave it at that for today. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.
Cheers.
See ya.